But on a realistic side, you could also start a farm. You could take care of your families with land. And that's what this is about. Like I do, and I'm gonna and that's what this topic is about, honestly, to showcase to you all the issues of what happened. So, you know, I and others can make some moves, like whether if it's gonna be a political route or excuse me, an activist route, to get things done. Now it's not like we're gonna be, you know, just saying some things and that's it. We got to put up a fight here because foreigners are allegedly owning this land. No, they don't own this land. They're just temporarily residing on it. I'll say it that way. Because our people haven't looked into see if their family, you know, may have a deed. Like I said, what was this title? It's time for these tenants to pay us rent, or eviction notices should follow suit. Period. If they don't want to give us what's owed to us when it comes to them residing on our land, here's an eviction notice. Legally. And I'm glad somebody said republic. Who was that? Barbados that just became a republic? Was it today or yesterday? Barbados just became a republic. They got their own president now. They got their own government set up, and look, hey, listen, we need to do the exact same thing. And listen, if you go back on my live streams from now and years back, I've been saying the exact same thing. And that's what it baffles me when somebody said, well, Dane, what's the solution? I'm like, yo, what more do I need to say? Like, we need to start our own everything, top bottom. And with us knowing that these people are foreigners that created this government fraudulently, we could just say, kick them out of there, bye-bye. It's our turn now. Let's get back to what we were doing when we had our own government. And we did, in operation. In the early 1800s, all the way up until 1870. Am I wrong? No, I'm wrong. Hold on, I'm trying to remember the exact year. Things started changing around in the 1880s because they implemented literacy tests and white supremacy, so-called white supremacy, in the 1890s. And that's when things started taking its toll. Or like this, and when I tell people this, you gotta believe the government did not have power in the 1700s. Like, for example, the 1776. What government? Who voted that president in? Who voted that president in? You didn't start seeing votes happen until the 1850s. Uh-oh. So was George Washington really the first president? How can we verify that? Man, look, I'm about to get started. They've been lying to us a lot when it comes to this government just to make themselves look good now. But once again, if voting, I'm talking about the voting system that we see right now, didn't get started until the 1850s. Who voted our so-called first president? Who voted for him? Who? Keep in mind, the census ain't start till 1790. So how many votes did he get? Somebody, anybody, please tell me. Let me see something that verifies that George Washington was voted in. I dare you. And how come Benjamin Franklin's signature is on everything. Like he was some type of president. Some other countries in different parts of the world will call a person of high caliber, like a president, they'll call him a minister. A minister. They also utilize that same title within the church. Minister. Right? Remember I played that clip of Malcolm X where he said, I'm trying to remember what he said verbatim. Where he said the Indians were, I'm paraphrasing now, the Indians were manipulated by way of ministers, priests. This gets deep. Remember, I also told you multiple times that the church and the government work hand in hand. They took our chiefs away, our real chiefs, by way of paper genocide, not just all wars, by way of paper genocide, and slapped that title on themselves, the supreme chief of justice, wearing wigs and like, come on, y'all, make the connection. In the Supreme Court. No, you listen to these people. These are your ministers. These are your chiefs now. Foreigners, get out of here. Now, I'm telling you, we can either reestablish or establish our own form of government. That's legal. I can legally state that. There's nothing against, there's no law stating that we can't do that at all. None. There's no law indicating that we can't start our own businesses, our own countries, right here, though. We ain't gotta go nowhere else. Right here. Because if you think about it, and I said this before and I'm gonna repeat this again, every single state that we call state is its own country that has many different cities in between. Each city has an owner. We gotta name it after such and such. And name all foreigners. Name it. I mean, some of them are. Most of them are. They name these countries utilizing, the majority of them are indigenous names, where some of those people resided within those areas. They so-called borrowed them and said, nah, let's name this area Oklahoma. Let's name this area Mississippi because we ran into the Mississippians right here. But since you so used to the 5 civilized tribes and you don't know the hundreds of other tribes that still are here today, the government is banking off of your ignorance. Because if you connect back with your families, this government's time of existence will be very limited. Now, I know this is going to sound like I'm yelling, you guys. Hopefully not, because I don't have my soundproofing around me. But I'm gonna play this video, and you guys gotta tell me if you can hear this, please. 1 second. Continuing where we left off during the second part of this segment, we begin with sharing more details on how this system was designed to benefit only 1% of the people.
These ideas of colonization were originally experimented on other people outside of the Americas and carried over to the...
Okay, now I gotta make sure. Press 1. Kev Gales, what up? Press 1. Press 1 if you can hear that. If that was clear. If I need to turn it down. If I need to turn it up. Oh, it sounds great. Loud and clear, good. I hope this is the right one. It seemed like it is. I'm gonna find out.
Of colonization were originally experimented on other people outside of the Americas and carried over to these lands with a more desperate need to succeed at monopolizing an already existing form of trade here. It was said that whoever controls the trade controls the land. And with the creation of currency, the use of shares, stocks, and bonds, along with the implementation of economics and exchange, the Negro farmers would soon lose control of the trade here in the U.S. And subsequently, they also lost control over their lands with the help of the banks.
So, yeah, because this gets so deep. This gets so deep, you really have to pay attention to how I break this down to show you who's responsible for this. Who should we see? And I remember a lot of those people on the news, they'll invite little guests over and they'll talk about who should be held responsible for neglecting us as a people. Because you can't just put it on one body. And actually, you can't. You can't put it on one body. But what you can do is put it on these corporations, because they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us. And that's not something we got to prove. That's reality. That's already documented. Like, these people know. USDA is one of them, Connie. That's right. These folks know here. The Freemasons also. Come on. It's a whole bunch of them. J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford. It's a whole, and matter of fact, I'm not sure if it's this one. Let me not say that, but I know one of these videos I went into who, and but even before Viacom, but Viacom is one of them. And see, they based out of the UK. Keep in mind, I'm not sure how true this is today, but I remember years ago that Viacom owned 85% of Verizon. And look at Disney. Disney, what in the world is Disney doing buying that much land? Why is Bill Gates? Matter of fact, hold on. I got something right now. Before I go any further, listen to this, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull this right back up. Bill Gates buying up land. Now listen to this. Buying land in Metaverse. That's that new Facebook thing that's getting ready to come out. I was warning y'all about this virtual reality stuff. Is the latest craze in the real estate market that will have companies spending millions on the technology's future. This is on my cell phone. I can't put it up, but I'm going to just read it to you really quick. 1 second. It says, according to recent reports, buying virtual land in the metaverse is the latest craze in the world of real estate. And some of the tech world's most popular companies are proving that no expense is too much to invest in the world's next big thing. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. A virtual world being purchased. Yo, this is so deep. This is deep. And it's happening right now. It's not like it's not happening. They're doing it right in front of you. They're not trying to hide nothing. The hiding stuff happened years ago. Like, we know who Illuminati is. We know all this other stuff that people want to say is a conspiracy theory crap. It's bull. We know the conspiracy. We already proved it. The so-called elites have an agenda. And that's to mush everybody out into the outskirts. Remember, they put us in the middle, calling them at first they were calling them labor camps. Then it turned into concentration camps, and then it turned into public housing, and now project housing, and now ghettos. Now they're gonna remove you and put you on the outskirts. They putting some stuff in the air and some stuff in your body. I'm gonna name it just like that. I'm gonna say it again though. They putting some stuff in the air and putting some stuff in your body, so it won't be that many people to survive. So they won't have to worry about that. That's called population control. And the more they're able to control this population, the more they're able to immigrate with an E, not with an I. It's two differences. Immigrate the people from these areas, mainly us now, mainly us that look like you and I, to the outskirts, so they can have the majority of the land all for themselves while still in control of you. Now, I have government records on that, by the way, that this was planned a long time ago. It's just a lot of that stuff was falling up under the radar because people, don't get me wrong, it is people out there that's really looking into it and actually trying to get something done. I mean, even doctors and nurses and scientists. But more people have to become aware. See, and I'm telling you the solution. Detach yourself from these people. Shout out to Papa Duck. It's Duck. I seen one of his videos before. Good brother. That's a good brother right there. He doing the right thing. He trying to keep our people informed about what's going on. Let me see. I'm not trying to get off topic, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that we have to do. But to start this thing off, guys, you got to see where the problems happen. And this is what I'm trying to showcase. Multiple ways. I try to do it multiple different ways. Because you might not understand that first time or that second time. But here come that third time, you may just get it. And when you share this work, let me mention this to people. When you share this to people and they don't, your friends, your family members, and they don't catch it the first time, that's fine. Share it to them again. Just do it at a later date. Don't wait a whole damn year. Just come back to them in like a few days. Like, hey, I got a video I got to show you. It be the same video. Don't even tell them it's the same video. Just show it to them again. Because they ain't pay attention the first time anyway. They ain't going to catch it. Think I'm lying? Try it. Our people need to wake up. Our people got too comfortable with this, what they call, I said this in my last video, they called it the Puritan way of life. That's what this government is falling up under, the Puritan way of life. This has all to do with their religious belief. Made up a story for you in order to control you again and told you to celebrate something during Thanksgiving. Everybody flocking to go get the turkey because the turkey got amino acid in it to manipulate you. A form of amino acid. Yeah, it's protein, but look into it. So, I mean, if you really look at the story, if the Pilgrims ate with the Indians and the first thing they gave them was turkey, hey, come on, hey, give them the turkey so we can easily manipulate them. Yeah, somebody said it, jive turkey. Huh? That's what that is. That's where that came from. Now, I'm not telling you not to eat turkey. I'm telling you what it was there for. Hold on, let me get the it's an amino acid. I'm trying to think of the name of it right off. You can look this up. I'm not making this up. I just don't have it in front of me. Yeah, like alcohol. That's right. Same thing. And manipulate your mind when you get under the influence of anything that is not your own influence. Huh? Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can still hear me, right? Yeah. They saying it in the chat. Don't get me wrong with trying to pronounce that, but that's it right there. The TRY word. That's it. But that's in a lot of forms of protein. Not just turkey. I know it's an amino acid. I know that for a fact. But yeah, I mean, see, I don't know why YouTube is saying that. It's saying I have low connection. Low connection. Can y'all hear me? I see full bars on my stuff. I don't know why it's saying that. And YouTube is saying, okay, there you go. Now it's saying excellent condition. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, but I'll put a video out about that. And of course, I'm going to be able to pronounce that word by then, because right now I can't think of how to pronounce that word. And I don't want to be wrong. But I'm also going to tell you I need to see, I wanted to do that, but I got so tied up with unpacking the stuff and moving stuff from our older house and moving it here that took a lot of time. But I'll still put it out. I mean, cause see, I'm not the guy that follows the trends. I'm not that type of person. I'll just put it out anyway. It doesn't matter the time. People need to know what. Nah, let me not use it. Let me not say it.
A bank is defined as a retail or commercial financial institution that is licensed by the government to receive and loan money. The word bank derives from the old Italian word banca and then the Middle French word ben banque, in which both words are defined as a table, which is why the etymology of the word bank is defined as a money lender's exchange table or a money box. The term money box was the obsolete sense of the original meaning for the word stock, which also meant a subscribed capital of a corporation. In other words, stock was the term used to describe the movable property of a farm. Now, some of you may feel as though this is in regards to the animals on the farm, like livestock, for example. But unfortunately, It also holds true to the other movable objects on the farm as well, like those that work on the farm, who were also labeled as stock and kept account of. To be kept in stock meant to be kept in possession of a trader or to be imprisoned, prisoners of war. And here's why. Paper currency had oftentimes been hard to come by during its earlier days of existence, due to the bartering system being widely recognized. Many of the Negro farmers were making purchases literally off of promises. And because certain crops only came once a year, there was a credit system that was used to where things could be purchased all year round, and the money would be paid through the sale of the crop when it was ready to be purchased. Whenever the crop received was lower than expected.
And by the way, that's the trade right there. That was the trade. That was the, not to go too far out off of this topic, but that is what the government wanted control of. That was the income. And as soon as they got control over the trade, they started taxing it. See? Tryptophan, that's how you pronounce it? Tryptophan? Oh, tryptophan? Okay. And everybody was rushing to get them turkeys. Man, my coffee got cold. I'm upset now. Oh, man. Let me come back just a tad bit.
Paid through the sale of the crop when it was ready to be purchased. Whenever the crop received was lower than expected, or if it was sold for less than it should have been, the farmer would then fall behind on his or her credit, and this invincible amount of currency owed would be tacked onto next year's amount due. After so many times of this happening, the Negro farmers will be then forced to either get a loan or to sell their farm. What is also very important to know,
I'm telling you what happens. Now, in certain situations, okay, I mean, this was the government's doing to our own people, okay? But I need you guys to understand how our ancestors fought. I don't want you to think that they just, just gave it up. They fought for it. Okay? Some of those people, as far as our ancestors are concerned, did take out a few of the loans, because keep in mind, during this time period, we owned the majority of the banks. And that was before the Freedmen's Banks. Like, you could look this up. This is, I mean, by federal documents. I don't have this in front of me, but it will show you that we owned over 150 banks at this time. And it will also indicate, I'm trying to remember the number of acres of land. Don't quote me on this part. I want to say 500 million acres of land. It was a high number like that. And that's what the government was after. But the key is to do the research on your family individually, to start looking at the records, to pull up those deeds, to see for sure what was patented. What do you see down on that paper as far as an agreement is concerned amongst your ancestors? Now, another thing that you can find, and I know when I hoped a lot of people get this done, a few times this pops up where they notice that their ancestors were purchasing land from their own family members. They were living, okay, they were living on the terminology that you may be familiar with is plantations. The plantations, for example, were held by my grandfather. This is just an example. And my wife and I and my children worked on that plantation. My grandfather then handed me the rights to his land by way of the deed. You need to check and see if that happened in your case. Or let's just say, for example, that farmer or plantation owner or landowner died and had a will, some form of contract indicating, and that doesn't matter the skin complexion at that time. It doesn't. Keep in mind, it wasn't about racism at that time. It was about classism, not racism. So it doesn't matter the skin complexion. And that land was passed down to your ancestors by way of inheritance. You need to check that too. And I mean that though. Not for example, if you're not, even if your ancestors weren't related to that landowner, the sharecroppers got it because they were living there. I wouldn't want to call them tenant farmers because that terminology came later. And I think I break that down in this segment also. But I don't want to confuse you when I say that. They were still technically farmers, but they were sharecroppers at that time. And sharecroppers had a lot more leeway than more people think, especially at that time period. And once again, I'm going to repeat this again. That's what the government was after. They were after control over that land. They wanted all of the land. All of it. And it's best that you see, and I strongly urge that. It's best that you see what is documented. And certain people turn their nose up. Well, I mean, but that's written by. It doesn't matter who it's written by. That's dealing with your family members. And if you see something that's going to work in your benefit in those records, then use it against this government. And I see a lot of people nowadays are changing up their tone after I've been presenting up this information. I remember a lot of them were going the Pan-African route and, we were slaves, Africa diaspora, we need reparations. And now all of a sudden I came along and I told you the exact truth with documentation. What happened to our ancestors? Now everybody say, we indigenous people, aboriginal. You know who I'm talking about. I told you they was going to change their tone. And I'm glad that happened. I'm not rubbing it in their face in the way I am, but I'm glad that it's happening because the dialogue does need to start, and it already has, but on a much larger scale. One, two, we need to get, number one, we need to get things done now. Now, since you understand what happened, now go find out what happened individually with your own family. Because what if your situation was like the Bruce family, where your ancestors owned a beach resort? And the state take it and say, nah, this was abandoned land since they died. Since your ancestors died, the state took it and left it there and didn't do nothing with it. In their case, that's the Bruce family's case. But it was never sold. Need to find out. That's a must. They'll go get reparations right there. I'm trying to remember how much they said that land was worth. I don't want to be wrong. It was in the millions. Yeah, let me not even give a number. I know it was in the millions, though. How much that beach resort is worth. I want to say 7 million, but it could be right up under that. It could be right above that. 750 million? Nah, was it? Hold on. Let me see. See, I know I don't have it in this phone, or do I? Let me double check. I know it's worth some money. Ooh, man, it's worth some money. And don't you ever turn your nose up to some land here. Ever. Dane Calloway said, don't turn your nose up to your ancestors' land. It's probably going to take me a second to look this up. Just a second. I'm trying to breeze through. I want to know how much that's worth. It's definitely in the millions. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up fast enough. Let me see. Reach. Is this? No. Okay, yeah, I'm not able to pull it up fast enough. So, but it's in the millions. Definitely in the millions. I'm gonna check one more area. I mean, I really do want to state how much it was. Is this it? Nah, that's not it. Damn. Wait. Oh, this is it. Hold on. Wait. I'm about to get it. It doesn't state the amount. Okay. I'll get back to you on that. But once again, let me state for the record that it's not in everybody's case where your ancestors owned a beach resort, okay? But LA County, yeah, it was in LA County. Oh, 75? A couple of people saying 75 million. Okay. I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, you talking about a resort. Like, that was a lot of acres right there. And you'll never know. It's best that you find out because your ancestors could be in that same position. And you don't gotta wait on your elders or your aunt and uncle, your mother, father. You can get it done. You listening to me right now. I'm telling you, you can get it done. There's no excuse. None. But they changed the records. Yeah, they gonna change some of these records to make themselves look good. But you can find the originals. You can find the originals. And don't worry about the cost because look at what you about to get back. As a matter of fact, you can sue the government and make them pay all the expenses. Or at least the state government. We got to come after these people that's sitting on our land. Don't turn your nose up to that now. You want reparations or some form of restitution? Let's go get it. Oh, that's my brother. Hold on. Brother Coleman, I'm about to add you as a moderator. And I didn't get a chance to check my Instagram yet, Brother Coleman. If you did hit me on there, I'm definitely going to be checking that here shortly. I go back just a tad bit because I don't know where I'm at.
The Negro farmers will be then forced to either get a loan or to sell their farm. What is also very important to note is that in the 1860s was something called the crop lien system, where the farmer would sign over the deed to their farm and still be.
See? Hold on. I showed you, go right here. I showed you one of them. I'm trying not to. Okay, I think I'm there. All right. So the federal land bank, Houston, Texas, by the way. Who are here in Texas? I'm telling you that it exists. Matter of fact, you know that it exists because when you buy land now, what you get? When you buy a house now, what you get? Huh? Yeah, shout out to Texas. This stuff is real, guys. And look at all the land in look at the land in Texas. Acres and acres and acres and in any state, for real, honestly, in any state. But you need the deed. Get it? They exist. I went live, where was I at? I was either on my channel or on Clubhouse. I pulled up somebody's deed live. I wonder where that brother at. If you in the chat, say something. See, and I told him to get back in contact with me. Let me know what you gonna do. And that's another thing. If you want, and we gotta stop being yeah, let me say this. Stop being afraid, y'all. Stop it. If you're successful, and you will be, okay? Because I know a lot of you guys were successful with getting your lands back. It's best for you to share your story online. Let the people see it. Stop being afraid. What the government gonna do to you? You got your land back. If anything, you can hire some brothers and sisters out there that's fighting and killing each other for your protection. Huh? I said you can hire them brothers and sisters that's fighting and killing each other right now for your protection. That'll take them off the street and give them a job to do to keep them busy. If you want protection. I welcome all of y'all on my platform, each and every one of y'all that I helped. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking. I understand. Okay? I understand that you want to keep things private. But it's time. It's time. Our people need to see. You know, I had to sign. Yeah, no, I signed disclosures. I'm actually glad you brought that up, Roger. I had to sign disclosures and I don't mind that, you know what I'm saying? So I won't say anything. And I'm like, you know, this stuff need to get out. Like, it needs to get out. People need to see what's going on. So if you out there and you either you listening to me now or you listening to me after this live stream is over, which is still now, and you ain't afraid to show your experience of what happened with you receiving your lands back, and I know it's a lot of people that I helped. I'm telling you, it's wide open, platform wide open. Come on, let's tear these disclosures up. We need to start exposing it.
The crop lien system, where the farmer would sign over the deed to their farm and still be able to work on the farm to pay it off. However, With the rise of taxes, transportation costs, and storage fees, etc., this became very difficult to do so, which eventually led to foreclosure, allowing for the banks to now own our ancestors' lands.
Still to this very day. Still to this very day. I said this on my channel about you owning your house. If you say for instance you bought your house cash, that's something different. But if you got your house and you own them and you paying the mortgage, that means you still a tenant. So if you don't finish paying that mortgage, who is it going back to? And and check this out. Did the banks buy the land? Did the banks buy the house? So why is it going back to them? You putting up your hard-earned money, and all of a sudden, maybe, God forbid, you can't take care of, the taxes or whatever it is they're going to claim. And it go right back to the bank, as if they had it the first go round. But there you go. It's a monopoly. And they only doing it to us here. I bet them. I bet them higher ups ain't doing the same thing. So-called higher ups. When all we got to do is pull that rug from right up under their feet, right now. Our ancestors went through this because they ain't know no better. They were trusting these strangers, thinking everything gonna work out for their benefit, for everybody's benefit, see? For everybody's benefit. But these foreigners had a different agenda. Remember, I said they came with flowers and the gun was in their back pocket. Look at them getting friendly with you. Hey, man, I appreciate doing business with you. Yes, sir. I appreciate doing business with you too, man. I can't wait to do some more. I could do commentary over this picture. And we'll see about that.
With the Preemption Act of 1841 already set in stone, the tenant farmers that were squatting on the farms and sharecropping with the Negro farmers were given first dibs on purchasing the lands, and in many cases, for free. Now, some of you may feel as though this sounds like a fair deal, but what if I told you that these same tenant farmers were already expecting for things to happen the way they did? After being in office for only 3 months as the Vice President of the United States,
check that hand gesture. Let me see if somebody gonna say this in the chat. We was just mentioning this about 15 minutes ago. Look at that. Look at the symbolism. They're gonna work together. They're gonna be all about that club now. Huh? They're going to be all about that little club, that little corporate. Huh? Remember, their whole agenda was to mind your business. I showed you that. That was about 3 years ago. I'll repost that. Maybe 4. I'll repost that. Their agenda was to mind your business.
Andrew Johnson, a racist, bigoted Democrat, became the president immediately after President Abraham Lincoln's assassination. Johnson was also the military governor of the very first state to re-enter the Union after the Civil War, which was the state of Tennessee in the year of 1866.
Now, how? Keep in mind, I bet, can you Google this? I think you can Google this. I'm not a Google user. The only time I'm a Google user is by using YouTube. But he was considered illiterate, meaning that he didn't have any form of, what they would call education. And he became president? By the way, that's a side note. That's a side note. If you didn't know that, now you know.
Now, according to whitehouse.gov, he used the state of Tennessee as a laboratory for Reconstruction. So it's no surprise that also in 1866, Johnson sent out a U.S. Department of Agriculture official named Oliver Hudson Kelley in order to survey the South and the agricultural industry, as it was right after the Civil War. And after this survey, Oliver Hudson Kelley responded with the creation of a secret society, very similar to the Masons, but this secret society was formed off of the industry of agriculture. So, with the help of 5 politicians and a banker,
I said that kind of fast. One more time, y'all. One more time.
The agricultural industry, as it was right after the Civil War. And after this survey, Oliver Hudson Kelley responded with the creation of a secret society, very similar to the Masons, but this secret society was formed off of the industry of agriculture. So, with the help of 5 politicians and a banker, Oliver Kelley founded the National Grange of the Order of Patrons of Husbandry in 1867.
Listen, y'all. Ooh, I get deep. Let's just let this sink in real quick. They formed a secret society surrounding agriculture. Not your religious belief, your land.
Grange is an old French word that means granary, barn, or farm. And the term husbandry is defined as someone that manages the conservation of resources, which meant that they were fully intending to take ownership of these farms from the creation of this society. Side note, the etymology of the word bond defines it as a husbandman or householder. The National Grange movement that was said to have been created in order to increase farm profits for farmers, unite Southern and Northern farmers, create co-ops for farmers, and to modernize farming practices. But the Negro farmers were banned from joining this movement.
But the Negro farmers were banned from joining this movement.
National Grange supported the efforts of politicians and advanced several political candidates that were a part of the Greenback Party that allegedly carried an anti-monopoly ideology. The movement encouraged the distribution of greenbacks and worked diligently in order to remove the middleman out of the farming industry, who were the Negro farmers, by playing a key role with the establishment of the farm credit system. In the year 1916, then
Hold up. I gotta let this sink in. This fool here, this fool right here, and a lot of his co-conspirators now, if we were to hold a president accountable, You about to see.
16, then President Woodrow Wilson and his administration established what is called the FLB, also known as the Federal Land Bank, which is a system of banks that aided farmers in rural communities. Rural is another way of saying open space or open land or country. President Woodrow Wilson's main focus was to enforce a new era in business upon all business entities throughout North America by making drastic changes to the economy by federalizing all operations concerning the trade.
What that sound like? Are these banks? Wait, let me see if y'all gonna say it in the chat. What does that sound like? Still to this day, by the way. This is still going on. Uh-huh. Thank you. Thank you, Moon. There we go. There you go. Yeah, they lied about say. See how they somebody John jumped ahead and said 13 banks. See how look up top and say is my mouse being shown? See how I say the 12 Federal Reserve banks? It's 13. It's 13. I think I said it right here. I got to. They owe us. Here they go right here. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I was turning my nose up to that crypto thing because I'm like, nah, nigga, hold up. Don't give them no excuse to not pay us back. But then again, I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. They not even using paper money. This is a credit system. I got on myself like, it's in thin air. Mm-hmm. They not even using their own money. All right.
Entities throughout North America by making drastic changes to the economy by federalizing all operations concerning the trade. The Federal Land Bank consisted of a total of 13 banks, not 12. Listen closely. Originally, before the Confederate States separated from the Union, the foreigners called these lands the 13 colonies. And soon after these rural areas were sectioned off and underlined as estates, various laws were passed, allowing each estate to have jurisdiction over their government-appointed district. Each Federal Reserve district had its own Federal Reserve Bank. And that—
Hold on. What's number 13? Before I go any further, let's see if somebody out there know. What's the 13th bank that they always try to, they don't want to include? Okay, yeah. Jerry got it.
The time of its inception,
watch this.
There was a grand total of 13 districts, making it a grand total of 13 banks. So who was this 13th district that somehow people would overlook?
Look at the symbolism.
The stateless area known today as the District of Columbia, under strict control of the U.S. Congress. More about this in another segment, but I mentioned all of this for a very particular reason.
This is a map of the. Am my mic on? Yeah. This is a map. Hold on. I gotta come back. Am I gonna show the whole? Okay. Of the District of Columbia. This is actually right now, guys. Facing the White House. All right. I'm gonna grab the picture and pull it up on a later date. You guys gonna have to remind me. But I mean, I hope you can see that symbolism. Okay, there we go. There we go. And the headquarters out there too, by the way. See, that's why I turn my nose up to you fools that, so, no, we're the good guys. We're the, huh? You the good guys? So you don't know their history? And see, and his brothers and sisters that look like you and I, that's involved in this crap right now, and they don't got no idea. And those that do don't care. Why? Because they getting paid. They getting paid. That's why I said our enemy comes in various skin complexions. It's not one set skin complexion. The enemy can also look like you and I. That's why I don't like them. They had an agenda. And see, and not the, nah, should I bring, and the actor was sent to come after me to not talk about stuff like this. They wanted me to join and shut up. Oh, that nigga know too much. He gonna end up start naming our names, and yeah, you know I am. You goddamn right. You sold us out. God damn it. We lost our land because of this. We lost our lands because of this. This is part of it, though. This is just part of it. Matter of fact, I'm not even scratching the surface. This is a speck of what these fools did. Just a little bit. Yeah, y'all seen how CNN offered me a contract too to shut up. That's what that was about. Tried to make the money look all good, and yeah, you gonna be good for 10 years. 10 years? I'ma live longer than that. Like, I'm not gonna sell myself, all my people out. That's a no-no. I'm not joining no organization. None. This was not made by our people at all. At all. And I could prove it. You know what? I never did a segment. I did bits and pieces. That's probably what they don't want me to do. I should do a segment on these fools. I should. It's more than just the boule, by the way. I'm talking about from A to Z. You know, when you hear the alphas and the betas, the kappas, the delta, it's from A to Z. Remember when we say the alphabet boys? You got to include them too. See, now, once again, I've met certain ones that have, I'm not going to knock all of them because I met certain ones that have great intentions, that have no idea, once again, about the history of these organizations that they represent. And when you try to tell them and show them, to go back to what Brother Derek Coleman said on that live stream, our last live stream, he said they can't comprehend it based off of what they drinking and what they, utilizing to brush their teeth. It's attacking the mindset. Just like that turkey that you ate in Thanksgiving, a holiday that ain't even yours. None of these holidays are. The only holiday you should be celebrating is every day you wake up. That's every day. Not go run into some retail store to go spend your money and you ain't getting nothing out of that. Nothing. The retail stores are. Huh? When the last time has anybody looked up how much money, generally speaking, our people as a whole group spends on these pagan holidays? They ain't got nothing to do with us. And they want to keep saying that we're less than 1% of this nation's wealth. You know they lying. Each and every corporation alive would die if we stop spending our income with them. Overnight, they wouldn't survive. That's how we take the trade back over. Stop spending with them. Somebody said $1.4 trillion a year. I think it's more than that. I think it's more than that. And turn around and ask this question: how many of our people own homes? We got some things to do here, y'all. How many of our people own land? But no, we gonna run in, and right now it's about to be Christmas. You know how they about to get you? I gotta buy this and that, this technology and these shoes and all this stuff for my children. And you working all hard, 9 to 5, ain't getting nothing for real. When we gonna stop letting this slide, y'all? And then you're gonna worry about how you gonna pay your rent the next month. But my children how your children gonna be happy when you in debt? Oh, for some holiday our ancestors ain't even celebrate. Huh? Our ancestors ain't celebrate no Christmas, no Thanksgiving, no Easter, none of that. They told you Thanksgiving came after slavery. Excuse me, let me correct that. It was during the Civil War in 1863. I mean, well, sometimes they say slavery was abolished in 1863. And then they turn around and say 1865. Our ancestors wasn't worried about no goddamn Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter and all this. No. No, we were not. They said, let's just give these niggas some money and then turn right back around and take it from them. And then they make sure that they put the music out there that glorifies all foreign entities. You gotta get the Gucci this, the Fendi that, the Chanel this, the Mercedes that, the Lamborghini this. Ain't near one of y'all putting that money back towards us here. That's why I gotta shout out Polo G. Polo G went and bought his mother a house, then bought himself one, and then did it again, bought his mother another one, huh? And bought land. See there? It wasn't the Gucci this, the Lamborghini that, the Ferrari this. These are foreigners. Stop supporting them. They not even here. Nah, but I look good in this Gucci belt. What's the difference between the Gucci belt and the belt that you get from Walmart? What's the difference? Oh, because it got a logo on it with a G? What that mean? That makes you look like you got money? You don't see no other race doing the stupid stuff that we doing right now. None. And you putting the money to your ear. What does that mean? The money calling you? And these foreigners that's over here laughing at us, still to this day, that's making us look like a damn joke. Including these Scottish white skull and bone, these folks. Right here. Our brothers and sisters are dying in our poverty-driven communities. Name a celebrity now that has. It don't even gotta be, I'm just talking about change one city from poverty to middle class. Name one. For example, just say, for example, the Los Angeles Lakers. All the millionaires that play for the, they're slaving for the white man again. But let's be real, they got to pay their bills. That's an excuse, though. But you got the whole team could put some money to the side and change your whole city. Right? Matter of fact, they could buy it. Because it's upside down right now. You can flip it right side up. Right now. But nah, you much rather tweet, oh, he was a good man. Just forget about it. They dying. They gonna kill themselves anyway. And they talking, well, I'm a black man. I'm a black man. Yeah, you're dead. Yep. Keep calling yourself a black man. You're dead. You're dead to this government. That this government ain't tripping off of you. Because they know for a fact that they're banking off of your ignorance right now. Because you don't know what happened in the most recent past. This wasn't that long ago. And I'm pointing it out. I can't think of somebody else on YouTube doing that. I'm going to be honest with you. It may be some folks out there, but I mean, come on. It's some things that we got to, when I'm talking about this land now. But you know what they're going to do? They're going to hurry up and go rush to those channels that's talking about the drama. A so-called color man beating up on a so-called color man. They arguing and blah, 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 bickering back and forth. See, our communities got so used to arts and entertainment. That's what they implemented in the 1890s. That was the form of white supremacy. They gave you arts and entertainment. Just look at us right now. The majority of the ones that we see that are so-called celebrities and millionaires are in the arts and entertainment industry. Am I lying? Am I making that up? But as soon as somebody go buy a store of their own or go buy some land on their own, that's not glorified. That's not being reposted all over across social media. That should be a trending thing. Instead of multiple people getting hit with bullets with no name on them being a trend every damn day. But see, most of this, and I'm going to talk about this during I'm still going to go live today later on, but I'm going to talk about this, but it has to start at home. Remember the young brother, if y'all didn't see the last live stream, it was a young brother that was on there from the Dominican Republic, if I'm not mistaken, but he lived in Jersey, 18 years old. And the word that came out of his mouth was discipline. And I said to myself, listen, now I know I'm teaching my children that, but just imagine all of our children being taught that. It got to come from the parents, though, not necessarily, but it should. How to be disciplined. I'm not talking about bringing out the belt or the switch and whooping your tail as a discipline. No. Disciplined on not being lazy. Disciplined on starting your own thing. Disciplined on stop depending on other people to do for you, when you can do it for yourselves. It has to start at home. We can create the organization this and get together and create the group that's going to do that, and we're going to fight in Congress to create the party that's going to do this. But nothing is going to change for you unless you do it individually, on your own. We can influence the change, but you have to make the change. The young brother that was 18, his name was Martin. I'm sure he's not up right now. He may be, but shout out to him. I was very proud hearing that. And I know I get a lot of the young brothers reach out to me all the time, and you'll be surprised. They are thinking that way. That same way with discipline. You have to be disciplined spiritually. Ooh. See how y'all don't want me to talk about spirituality stuff on my channel? I want to show you how our ancestors did it, at least my ancestors. You can take it and run with it. If you like. If you like to. I tried to open that up, and I even did a vote, and people, nah, put that on another channel. I'm like, what? Key elements. that's needed. But nah, Dane, go ahead, put it on a different channel. But yeah, them same people that told me to do that be them same people that go rush to them drama channels. Oh, he fighting such and such. Commenting, donating. Like, for example, I'm gonna drop some names right now. Kevin Samuels, right? Who anointed that fool to say to be the counselor of however many people be watching him that got relationship problems. See, y'all not looking at it. He's banking off of your ignorance. And also, it's drama filled, so it's entertaining. And you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that because it's so entertaining for you to sit there and let him belittle another woman, kind of big up a man that's probably not bigging up himself, didn't have his father in the house. But yet he's the counselor to your life that you needed. Oh, he saved my marriage. And huh? I'm like, yo, yeah, what you, okay, so he's now the black Jerry Springer. And remember, some of our folks used to watch Jerry Springer religiously. Once again, gravitating towards the drama, the arts, and the entertainment. I looked at that fool show one time. That's all I needed. I was like, is this scripted? What is this? And I do not like how he talked to women. And the men in the chat, yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, and they all single for that reason. Yeah, that's how you talk to them. Yeah, that's how you do it. Straighten them out. The women ain't this. I'm like, that's probably the women that you attracting. Now, don't get me wrong. All women ain't perfect, and neither are the men. I got lucky enough that I ran into my wife at a very young age and said, hold up, I'm done. That's it. I'm not fighting with no other female to hopefully lay down and have my children and marry her. I ain't doing that no more. But y'all fools so caught up in the drama that you might have missed your wife a long time ago. And then on top of that, you ain't even got your life together. So what could you bring to the table for this woman that you so-called want and need and you looking for? I'm not going to jump off the topic. I'm just saying. And this boy banking off of that. Killing it. How is a single man, oh, I don't know. I didn't see him with no female, by the way. But how is he going to give you relationship advice? That's just like when Tony Rock, Chris Rock's brother, called out Steve Harvey for giving relationship advice when he was married to 3 different women 3 times. I understand relationships go through something, but what's the best advice that you can receive from a guy that's going from woman to woman? You ain't getting jacks. Look, you ain't getting nothing. And he divorcing left and right, and you gonna take relations, and he wrote a book and put out a book. And you held Steve Harvey up like, I'm like, nah, no way. But see, once again, people love that drama stuff. They gonna run over there and see, that's what gotta be eliminated within our communities. Realistically speaking here, guys. It's a lot of drama going on, even within our music. You don't hear no other form of music promoting the attempt to murder their own people inside of their music. You ain't gonna catch no country song. Yeah, I'ma go down there and kill me one of them white folks down. I'ma give me a gun. You ain't hearing that. But real quick, we can cut on the radio, and every single female mentioned is either a hoe or a bitch, or and every nigga is a nigga. Am I lying? We the only one. Ain't I'm talking about no other music genre doing the exact same thing. None. And ain't nothing but Jews controlling that industry. Nothing. They just sitting back getting billions of dollars. Making men wear dresses and skirts and nah, y'all, it's the new trend. Making men wear dresses and skirts and gowns. And what? What? Show me a picture of a white artist of any other genre doing the same thing. I dare you. And you know what some of our people doing? Rushing, let me go support them. Yeah, that beat bumping. That beat bumping, huh? What frequency is it on? Have you ever tried to pull it up in a wave file to see what frequency they tuned it to? They tuned it to a frequency of manipulation. Even the radio stations are tuned to a frequency of manipulation. Even the television programs. If you notice, you could be watching a program. Say, for instance, you watching some drama show, Power, pick one. You know, the ones that we make successful because we love drama. Then right after that, the show could be like right here. And then all of a sudden, without you turning up the volume, the commercial be like, yeah, and it be loud as hell, right? You could be, now, ladies and gentlemen, this is such and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, and da, 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 and it's super loud. You don't think that's listen, not everything is a coincidence. But not everything happens out. Okay, not everything is a conspiracy, but not everything happens out of pure coincidence neither. Yes, it's called programming for a reason. That is absolutely correct. Programming. That's a form of transportation. My wife and I went over transportation multiple times and gave multiple examples. This is danger. You know what type of enemy you're dealing with? Yeah, hurts. Look at that. Hurts. They tune into a certain hurts. And you wonder why you like that song, but you can't stand what they saying. Matter of fact, you can't even, in most occasions, you can't even understand what they saying. And then they had the nerve to release that app TikTok and made everybody dance to transitions. Transporting you into a trance Transportation, y'all. Rituals. Magic is both good and bad, just like karma. So you have to be careful of what you say out of your mouth and what you say in your mind. So you also have to be aware of what you put in your mind. You have to be aware of what you put in your body, in your temple. Yeah, we were made in his image because the God lies within you. So whatever you do to yourself, if you hurt yourself, you hurting God. Then what you gonna say? Oh, I'm just gonna ask for forgiveness? Nah, he got my back. I'm just gonna ask for forgiveness. I just be sinning just to be sinning, but I'm gonna get relieved based off of me knowing that I'm doing wrong, but it's okay because I got an excuse to go out the back door when I... See? It's a contradiction. And those spirits, or whatever you want to call them, your ancestors or the angels, whatever terminology you want to use there, they watching you. They listening for your direction. So when you cheat yourself, right, you cheating yourself. So when you cheat yourself, what's going to happen? It's a ritual there. You have to be aware of what's going on. And to go back to the topic at hand, they were aware and used their form of magic to get this done. But they had to weaken yours to the point where it ain't even gonna be there. So they can bring themselves up to be considered so-called elite right now. They ain't elite. They not higher than me. They not higher than you. Well, all electrical beings, but how your way of life is determined by what frequency you're on. See, and you can't let nobody influence, or no, what's another word I want to use? You can't let anybody infiltrate your mind. Knocking you off the frequency that you're supposed to be on. I'll do a segment on this. I have. I'll do it. And don't get mad at me if I go deep. I don't care. See, I'm going to tell you for what it is. I'm not here to tell you how it might be. So, and that's going to you Christians out there and the Muslims. There ain't no knocking y'all. I'm not knocking y'all's religious belief. I'm just trying to tell you something that's actually going to benefit you now. You take control over your own mindset now. I'm going to give you some tools that I even use for myself personally. You can take it or leave it. I'm not trying to force it down your throat. I'm not about to be about, here, look at this book. You got to follow by it religiously. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you what I know that I know worked for me. I'm going to put it out. You can either skip to the next video and sit and listen and take notes. Because I'm sick of this. I see a lot of our people need some spiritual work done. A lot of our people. And what these same people, to go back to this, these same people banking off of your ignorance of self, your ignorance of your original spirituality, your ignorance of not knowing what happened in the most recent past in order for themselves to continuously become, or to continue their successes, to continue on with their successes. And what I mean by we got a lot of work to do, that's a big part of it. Spirituality. You can't let them continue. You can't let them continue to break your spirits. Because as soon as the spirit is broken, there's nothing else there. So now you're a zombie. Ooh. See, they talking through me right now. I can feel it. What you gonna say? That's the Holy Ghost? Call it what done. Go ahead. Call it what you want to call it. I hope you listening to me though. How you gonna let your conscience be your guide and you ain't even got control of your subconscious? Right now.
It is the stateless area known.
I'm gonna go back.
Its own Federal Reserve Bank, and at the time of its inception, there was a grand total of 13 districts, making it a grand total of 13 banks. So, who was this 13th district that somehow people would overlook? It is the stateless area known today as the District of Columbia, under strict control of the U.S. Congress. More about this in another segment. But I mentioned all of this for a very particular reason. On December 23rd, 1913, 3 years prior to the creation of the FLB, President Wilson signed the Owen Glass Federal Reserve Act, or rather known as the Currency Bill, into law. This allowed for all major European powers to develop centralized control over all banks in the United States and for the Currency Bill into law. This allowed for all major European powers to.
I gotta stop right there. Can anybody tell me out there, is the value of the dollar bill going up or down since 1913? Up or down? Is the value of the dollar bill going up or down? How much you think it's worth today? It ain't worth nothing. Ain't ain't nothing but a piece of paper. See, that's a form of manipulation. You gave a piece of paper power over your mind. A stranger told you that it's worth $1. It's valued at $1. And they ain't even using the same paper as their own currency. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Dane Calloway not making this up.
Developed centralized control over all banks in the United States and forced only one form of currency to be lawful, which was the Federal Reserve note. This was a much more modified version of the original Currency Act of September 1st, 1764. This means that all banks in the United States were now controlled by foreign entities, and these foreign entities were rather known as private banks. And these private banks collected interest on monies borrowed, or rather floating debt, by the US federal government. Taxes should ring a bell here. Now, I want you all to note that these foreign entities or private banks do not own any individual banks of the United States, but they do own, however, stock in those same banks or shares, and only member banks can hold those shares.
Hold on, that's powerful, y'all. Please listen to this part.
Now, I want you all to note that these foreign entities or private banks do not own any individual banks of the United States, but they do own, however, stock in those same banks or shares, and only member banks can hold those shares.
One more time. One more time.
Entities were rather known as private banks. And these private banks collected interest on monies borrowed, or rather floating debt, by the US federal government. Taxes should ring a bell here. Now, I want you all to note that these foreign entities or private banks do not own any individual banks of the United States, but they do own, however, stock in those same banks or shares, and only member banks can hold those shares. According to the Federal Reserve public records, about 38% of the banks in the United States are members of the Federal Reserve, and due to the currency bill signed by Woodrow Wilson, member banks must purchase shares based on their size alone. So the biggest banks would have the most shares, which would be Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Bank of America. And the largest stockholders of the banks that own shares are Barclays, Capital Research and Management, AXA, Bank of America, Fidelity Management and Research,
I got them all.
State
You hear
Street
me?
Corporation, Lazard Asset Management.
This pissed me off. Woo! I got them all. Hold on. Nah. Listen. See, and once again, I gotta state this again. This is just scratching the surface of who we should be coming after. Listen to
Purchase shares based on their size alone. So the biggest banks would have the most shares, which would be Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Bank of America. And the largest stockholders of the banks that own shares are Barclays, Capital Research and Management, AXA, Bank of America, Fidelity Management and Research, State Street Corporation, Lazard Asset Management, Morgan Stanley, James Dimon, and Sanford Wheel. As the process of converting all promissory notes to Federal Reserve notes were currently underway, President Woodrow Wilson was quoted stating the following while campaigning his new agenda: banks all over the country hastened to enter the Federal Reserve System, encouraging even congressional leaders to enact a new banking system and currency reform. Also, during the year of 1916, another piece of the Banking and Currency Reform Plan was underway, which eventually merged the 13 Federal Reserve banks that made up the Federal Land Bank with other banks alike in service corporations. When the merge was completed, it became known as the Farm Credit System.
Gotta get them. We gotta get them. We gotta get them here.
A now fully government-sponsored enterprise, or GSE for short, that still operates as a network of banks that provides lending services to beginning farmers, rural home buyers, agricultural producers, and rural infrastructure providers today.
And by the way, Bill Gates, what is his foundation called? Is it called the Gates Foundation? They're a part of it now also. I forgot, him and his wife. Now, his wife left him due to an argument over what he planned to do. And by the way, YouTube doesn't allow us to play the video because I tried to post it as soon as it happened on CNN. And it was so funny because he got when I was watching it, because he was being interviewed by Anderson Cooper. And you know, Cooper is an offspring of one of the 13 families. Okay, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Okay. They're part of this now. So that's why you're seeing them buying up all of this land with ease. And they getting money from it. Yeah, Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. He changed his name to his stage name, Anderson Cooper. So y'all gonna sit there and not do nothing? Huh? Sister Bethy in the house. What's up, sis? We got, hey. And they do this on their own now. Once again, I'm just scratching the surface.
In addition to all of that, they also provide loans or credit for the commercial aspects of rural land, banks within the Farm Credit Bank only, and deals with refinancing, restructuring, rebuilding, and the repurchase of rural real estate for personal use. Let's break down each branch of this farm credit system first.
Okay. If you ain't never have a pen and paper, screenshot all these names.
There are 9 farm credit system institution types, which are
I got a book coming out on this. I'll tell you that right now.
Agricultural Credit Association, Bank for Cooperatives, Farm Credit Bank, FCS Financial Assistance Corporation, Federal Intermediate Credit Bank, Federal Land Bank, Federal Land Bank Association, Federal Land Credit Association, and Production Credit Association. These institutions are direct lending associations affiliated with one of the 4 banks of the farm credit system, who are CoBank, AgFirst, AgriBank, and Texas. There are 6
not to be confused with the state. Texas is a bank.
Service corporations performing duties under the farm credit system as well, who are the Farm Credit Foundations, Farm Credit Leasing Services Corporation, Federal Agricultural Mortgage Corporation, Federal Farm Credit Banks Funding Corporation, Advantis Incorporated, and Farm Credit Financial Partners Incorporated.
These are the people we could be taking to court, y'all. We got a case. We got a case. I got these records. You ready? I'm ready. Remember, I told you all we need is 13% of our people. We could get this done. I'm ready. I'm tired of waiting. Who are we waiting for? Who? I'm ready. And they just eating off of our ignorance still. Because our people ain't got no idea. They ain't going to teach this in school. They better not. Because our younger generation, our youth will go off on them. So that's why I appreciate you guys that share my content with your children. I'm thankful for that. We need it. But I really want to do it right now. I don't want to wait.
This is just scratching the surface of who should be held responsible for the mistreatment of our ancestors, confiscation of our ancestors' lands, along with broken promises that were never upheld by those who created them.
And our ancestors did all of the work, y'all. I'm not gonna get upset. I'm upset. Fuck it. Excuse me. I'm already upset. We did all of the work. Our ancestors did all of the work. And these foreigners hiding behind their little private entities. Meanwhile, they controlling the banks that control the land that our ancestors own. Once again, this is just a part of it, a small part of it. And I mean that. They capitalizing off of our people's ignorance. Wake up! God. It's time, man. It's time. We owe our ancestors this, y'all. We owe them. This is our land. That's right. Turtle Island. This is ours here. And they know it. They know it. And them judges and Supreme Court justices, chiefs, or whatever, they not gonna say nothing. Matter of fact, Sister Betty, Joe Brown, the actor, he's so what? Get over it. Cause get over it. So what? Meanwhile, he Alpha Phi Alpha. A sellout. He got his little money. He got his little land. He ain't think about you. Not one bit. And there's people out there that hold that nigga high here. And it's more than just him.
Another great example of how this capitalist society succeeded in popularizing industrialization.
Ooh, that picture's beautiful. I like that picture.
For one's law, with broken promises that were never upheld by those who created them. Another great example of how this capitalist society succeeded in popularizing industrialization for one's loss and another one's gain is America's most highly favored board game called Monopoly. On January 5th, 1904, a board game called the Landlord's Game was patented under inventor Lizzie J. Magie, also known as Elizabeth Maggie Phillips, who was the hidden figure behind the idea of the Monopoly board game. As you may recall, that each time this game is played with your family or friends, things would take a turn for the worst near the conclusion of the game. Arguments, long periods of not speaking with each other, possible relationship separations, and so forth, right? Well, that's all due to the fact that this board game was never meant to be a fun, family-friendly type of game. In fact, it's a game of reality. A reality of how this society was established from its inception. Fraud. In a 1936 magazine article of the Evening Star, Elizabeth Maggie noted that the game was to be, quote, a practical demonstration of the present system of land grabbing with all its usual outcomes and consequences, end quote. Author Ruth Hall wrote that the term land grabbing, quote, obscures vast differences in the legality, structure, and outcomes of commercial land deals and deflects attention from the roles of domestic elites and governments as partners, intermediaries, and beneficiaries.
Look, deflecting it off of them!
According to the Webster's Dictionary, the noun land grab means...
Look at that picture. Pay attention to detail. I be putting, woo!
Quote, a usually swift acquisition of property such as land or patent rights, often by fraud or force.
We gotta
end
get
quote.
them.
This is not just some simple board game, as it does, however, expose the duplicities of a federal currency system and the malevolent implications of capital accumulation by taking land and building an empire from the labors of those who were cheated. Our ancestors.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we got a case. Oh, we got a case. But see, we ain't got to do no marching. It's not about marching. It's not about protesting. It's about, look, we know what you did wrong. Here it is. If you don't make a move, you in trouble. Kanye West can't. If I ever talk to Kanye, he will go off. But who knows? I don't know. See, it's a lot of powerful people, meaning, you know, those that have a lot of money that could get stuff done single-handedly. But technically, we don't even need them. We could do this for ourselves. We can hold each other accountable. Huh? We can hold each other accountable and get this done. That's why I said it goes back on you. You got to get the records to prove that land was stolen from your ancestors. Don't forget, that's what the Bruce family said. They said their land was stolen. Key word. If you ain't ready, you better hurry up and get ready. And stop listening to them folks that look like you and I, that's bought and paid for. They don't have your best interests in mind. Won't ever will, because they bought and paid for. They don't like stuff like this coming out. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They don't like it. This is chess. We got the proof now. We got to make a move to put him in checkmate, y'all. We can't just stand there and look at the pieces on the board and hope they move. We got to make the moves. If you would like to do something about it on a private note, info at imjustheretomakeyouthink.com is the email that you use. Info. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Give me 1 second. I had to. My wife just brought me some fresh coffee. Oh man, I was over here talking. My mic was muted the entire time. When y'all said coffee break, I'm like, huh? Nah, but what I was saying was, I said a lot right there, but I said, I'll start from what I just said. Start over. What I was saying was, this is who we need to come after. It's not about money. It's about the land. It's about getting the land back. But everybody have to hold themselves accountable. You have to have the records so you could show your family members and know, so y'all can know, and we could take those same records and rub it back in the faces of these government representatives and demand something get done, or else. What's the or else, Dane? Well, what the title say? It's time for these tenants to pay us rent, or eviction notices should follow suit. Eviction notices should follow suit. They gotta go. Because you owe us. You owe us. And I also asked this question because I was saying, guys, stop. Don't even waste your money on this holiday coming up unless you're going to put it towards some land for your family. Put some equity up under your belt. Huh? Put some equity up under your belt. Because that's the money. That's the money. You see, I just showed you in that video right there. I ain't even got to go to 2 and 3. I showed you right there that the government was after the land. The profit is you. They weren't at the land grabbing, a swift acquisition of property or land. There go the money right there. So all of you guys looking for reparations, it's no excuse no more. And I'm telling you that right now, it's no excuse. Get your ass up. Get that paperwork of your family members so you can know for sure what your ancestors previously owned and fight with us. That's 1. 2, I also told you, once again, I'm gonna repeat this, buy land. Don't go out and buy this and that toy and this car. Go get some real assets. You buy land, your credit score jumping sky high. You need those assets up under your belt, y'all. Matter of fact, how do y'all feel about me doing videos on that? I would love to explain it. I would love to break it down. I would love to go over stuff like that. Now, once again, in documentary format. But I would love for you to, if that will pique your interest, I'm down. Because that's one side of it. Okay. I see a lot to do it. All right. Okay. That's not a problem. Don't turn your nose up when I do it now. And don't close your eyes and act like you can't see. See, keep in mind, these private people or private entities owned banks and corporations. That's what a state is. A state is a country. A country is rural area owned by a corporation. I just showed you that in this video. If they can do it, we can do it. There's no law. Don't get scared now. There's no law stating that we can't do this. And if the government don't want to abide by what we say, we can overthrow that government legally. I showed you that also. How to create your own country, part 1 and part 2. They can't do nothing about it. That's international law. Stop dealing with those people that are not there for your best interests. Stop it. Stop all communication with them. Get them out of your cell phone. All of that. Stop dealing with those type of people. If they're not about building a nation, if they're not about this is nation building. This is nation building right here. We could do this on our own, and we will. It's going to happen, and I told you it's inevitable. Our people are waking up every single time, every single day. I don't care if it's 5 or 10 at a time. I wish it would be more than that. 5 or 10 million at a time. We could get a lot of stuff done now. But I put my email address in there. I'll do it again. If you're serious about it, you have to get your paperwork on your family. You have to. Okay? That's the key. We got to find out if your ancestors own land. Okay? Now, certain deeds will look different. Okay? But like from the one that I showed you right there in Houston, Texas. But they exist. Everything was written down, y'all. Don't let them tell you anything different. Everything was written down. That's why I told you slavery didn't happen the way that they told us it did. Nope, that would have been written down. And it wasn't. But what was written down, was those slaves coming from foreign countries, coming off of those steamboats. Not slave ships, steamboats. And the majority of them were of pale skin. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landing on us. They landed in the Plymouth colony. Charlestown, Massachusetts, now called Boston, Massachusetts. 1619. Those were the first African slaves to arrive here. They were slaves. Now, if you don't know where I'm coming from, as a matter of fact, what's the name of that video? I just put part 1 and 2 out on that to show you that they were sending the criminals over here. Once again, as a means of transportation. Yep, rejects, peasants. King was telling you this. King was telling you also. He told you what they were doing and handed them our lands. King said, I hope I can say this verbatim again. He said, He said, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they receive the land, they built land grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. See, they had to be taught, but we knew. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, he said, I'm trying to remember what he said, but I know it was something after that. He said, in order that they could mechanize our farms. So in other words, replaced the individuals and put machinery out there to do the work. And then he said, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm. And these are the very same people that are telling us that we gotta lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. That's what he said. Woo! And ain't nobody listening to that. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, that was the poor people's campaign. That's why they got rid of him. We're coming to get our check. Now, I'm telling you, yeah, King was Alpha Phi Alpha as well. That's why I gotta tell y'all that some of them were good and bad. King didn't know. He found out 3 or 4 years prior to his death that the government, they had a totally different agenda. Then when he started beating the drum and told everybody he led them to a burning house, he knew he made a mistake. He said, look, he started reading them land grants. Huh? And I just showed you the society, the main one that got this done. Secret society. They not secret, they right there. The secret is that you don't know nothing about it. Yeah, I showed you who breached his movement to stop him, because when he started flipping it, do I gotta say his name? I showed it to you. I got permission to use them clips. I let them tell you. That honestly, I believe both of those segments should be on Netflix. You know how, ooh, that would go viral. People will be pissed. I ain't even do you know what? I'll do a segment on Jesse Jackson. I ain't even get on Jesse Jackson. I ain't get on him yet. And what's up with he was a reverend, but what church was he a reverend to? Do y'all know? And Al Sharpton, what church were they a reverend? Do they have, matter of fact, is that a necessity? Or you could be a reverend without having a church? I don't know. I was just trying to figure out how he was a reverend. I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. That's an actual question. The Rainbow Coalition. Because I don't remember. Oh, okay. Okay, Brother Derek said no, because I was trying to figure that out. I mean, I think that title was slapped on him in order for him to be considered one of the leaders again that will lead us astray. The minister. See, they use certain people. See, Martin Luther King wasn't having that. See, and once again, I am going to put out my video on Martin Luther King, but that thing is so damn deep. But yeah. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all. I have to tell you. I have to. But he did come around. Okay, and I keep telling y'all that it was at, once again, 3 or 4 years prior to his death, his assassination. Let's be real. He came around, and but by that time it was too late. I'm gonna be honest. By that time it was too late. Our people were already manipulated into believing that they were going to get some rights by becoming first-class citizens, and all of them lost their lands and farms, and by becoming first-class citizens and registered to vote, furthering the hindrance upon our people. And then Stokely Carmichael come right around and say, nah, let's promote black power. Where the black power at now? Tell me when there was ever black power. Tell me. Where was the power identified? Oh, and you coming together in the street holding up signs? That was the power? The government was laughing at them. The one that had power out of that whole time period was Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton had power. That's why they came after him in his house with his children asleep. Matter of fact, he was asleep. He had power, and he was young too. But prior to Fred Hampton, all the rest of them was just marching, trying to dress all clean and stuff like that, getting ladies. That was just their the hangout spot was now outside. I'm telling you, what did they do? Name one thing. Huh? What was the power? Show me. Oh, because you got a gun? A gun doesn't make you powerful. Remember, I just showed you that thumbnail or the last live stream. A gun does not make you powerful. So what power you got? None. That once again, when you say black power, it means dead power, non-existent. You're nothing to this government every time you consider yourself black. That's why the older generation before that 1960s generation was upset and didn't agree with that Black Panther Party movement at all. And they had the nerve to turn around and get political, and the Democrats kicked them out. Like, what? No. And Malcolm X warned them that you were giving the Democratic Party too much power in too little time. And he was right. At that time, it was the Dixiecrats. Same thing. We got a lot of work to do. Little by little. But it starts at home, y'all. Hold yourselves accountable. I hold myself accountable. 4, 5 in the morning, I'm up. I'm teaching. I'm working. I'm researching. I'm writing. I'm recording. I'm trying to get this message out. And I'm also linking up with people that's serious about this. And I'm not going to publicize no plan on this internet. Once again, Martin Luther King made that same mistake before internet was even there. He publicly broadcasted his plan with the Poor People's Campaign. The government got a whiff of that, took him out. That's why I say there can't just be one leader here, because they could narrow it down. All of us got to be leaders. This time around, hold yourselves accountable. So later on today, I'll come back with it's gonna be it was gonna be this, so now I'm gonna have to do a different one, which is fine. I was gonna do a part 2 to the how we stop the violence, but I think YouTube has an issue with that, guys. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know. I got a meeting coming up to figure out what their issue was. Once I find out, then I'm gonna do part 2. That's why I didn't resume that, because I was blocked from live streaming for a second, believe it or not. So I don't know what their problem is, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna go live again. Just get ready. You know, I just do it unannounced. But I appreciate everyone that came. I hope you learned something. I really do hope that you took what I said and take what I say and run with it. Meaning, literally, do it for your family, y'all. They stole our land. They stole our land. And I'm talking about, oh my God, there was so many acres of land. So I'm pretty sure the majority of the people that's watching, their ancestors own land. And I can guarantee that. That's how deep this is. This ain't no joke. So, and the ones that's gonna see this later, same thing with you. The same thing with you. Okay, sister, I will. I'm gonna get one more cup of coffee. I'm supposed to be recording, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Y'all know how I do. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out on that note. Please run with this. Please. We need this. All we need is 13%. We know everybody ain't gonna agree. It's not about that. They'll follow suit once they see the 13% doing it. Then they ain't gonna be scared no more. Because that's what it is. They scared. Don't be scared. Have the confidence in yourself that you will actually believe in yourself. Build it up. Build your strength. Individually. Hold yourselves accountable. Be disciplined. The things that we just went over during this live stream. Do it. Do it. I dare you. I love y'all. What up?